Bear with me, guys. I'm about to check and make sure everything is looking right on the stream. Sound check. Let me see if I get some feedback in there. Sound check. Good, good, good. All right, so everything seems to be working the way it's supposed to. I am determined to learn how to use Streamlabs this year. Now, the title is Interesting Cases from the News Nation's Missing Persons page, but I'm also going to throw a little something else in here too because I just came across something very interesting concerning Bryan Kohberger, the suspect who has been arrested in the Idaho 4 murders. So we'll get to that at the end. First, if you're not familiar with the News Nation's Missing Persons page, they kind of started a real push after the Gabby Petito page to put a spotlight on more missing cases that usually don't get a lot of coverage. We know that in the missing persons field or arena, or I can't think of the right word, but we know that when it comes to missing persons, some demographics just simply aren't given the attention and the media coverage that other demographics are. And so I really like that News Nation stepped up as a major platform to go about putting a spotlight on more cases like that. So let's scroll down. I'll read this section out because I don't know how many of you have actually visited the page. I know a lot of us catch stories from it, but we haven't directly visited the actual page. Actually, last night was the first time that I actually looked at this page. So they said, all around the country, there are people searching for lost loved ones. While there are some cases with more answers than others, each one is important to the family, friends, and communities involved. News Nation's ongoing series, Missing, formerly called Missing in America, highlights missing persons cases across the country. While the case of Gabby Petito made headlines for weeks, members of the public and her own family pleaded with the news media to give attention to other missing persons cases. I love Gabby Petito's family in the way that they have handled this whole situation. Even though they are rightfully entitled to play the victim role, in this whole thing, you've never seen them play the victim role. They've never come with this, oh, poor us, poor us, poor us. They have, from the very beginning, handled every step of the Gabby Petito disappearance and death with dignity, with just with tact. They have pleaded for attention for other cases and even started a foundation to help other cases. They've never once made it about them and their pain and their sorrow, even though rightfully they would be entitled to do that. So the first case I want to bring off their website, because we're going to do two. The first is Irene Gakwa. She's missing from Gillette, Wyoming as of March 2022. Her case status is pending. Now, Irene Gakwa, 32, was thriving after she moved from Kenya to America. She lived with family in Idaho before moving to Gillette, Wyoming, when she met a man on Craigslist named Nathan Heitman. After the move, Gakwa's family grew concerned when they noticed Gakwa's texts had changed. Heitman told police Gakwa packed clothing into 2 plastic bags and announced she was leaving Gillette. Her family, however, doesn't think that's true. Eventually, police arrested Heitman and charged him with draining Gakwa's bank accounts, deleting her email account, and using her credit card to buy a pair of boots, a pair of pants, and a shovel. Heitman, according to police, said he did it to force her to contact him in event she needed money. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. According to Casper Star Tribune, Heitman's next court appearance is scheduled for January 4th. Anyone with information about the disappearance of Irene Gakwa is urged to call the Gillette police at 307-682-5155. So that's kind of like the introductory to it. Kind of gives us a place, point of reference for who certain people are, because I'm going to pull up, they have a more in-depth article. So let's pull that up. Wyoming City searches for Irene Gakwa. I believe this article has a video. I'm going to step away while this page finishes loading. I turned on the heater because it's so cold, and now it's too hot. All right, they do indeed have a video. Let's get this back to the beginning.
From Kenya, came to America to live out her dream. A newcomer in a foreign land.
I just saw your comment about is it muted? Can you not hear it? Oh, yeah, it was muted. I had the desktop sound off. So let's try this again with the desktop sound on.
he was planning to marry. Irene Gonka thrived after her move to America, splitting time living with her brothers, making friends, taking classes to be a nurse. Then she met a man on Craigslist.
It seemed okay. At the time, everything seemed okay, and I didn't really know Nathan. So now that I know what I know, maybe it wasn't her.
But Wainaina is desperate to know more. Heitman told police Irene packed clothing into 2 plastic bags and announced that she was leaving Gillette Wainaina, then got into a dark-colored SUV and left the area.
I think that's false. That's a false story. That's just, something he was just saying to just get the police off his porch.
Police were back on that porch soon enough, arresting Heitman, charging him with draining Irene's bank accounts, deleting her email account, and using her credit card at Walmart to buy a shovel, a pair of boots, and a pair of pants. Police say Heitman claimed he did it to force her to contact him in the event she needed money. Today is 200 days since Irene disappeared. Stacy Kester never met Irene, but that has not stopped her from putting in hundreds of hours of time looking into the case. Never met Irene. She's organized a search with forces that specialize in human decomposition. The teams have used cadaver dogs, literally covering Hunt Poker is amazed at the determination of these search teams. Police have asked the public to be on the lookout for a 55-gallon metal drum, which could be burned and abandoned.
Most recent searches are kind of zeroing in on that barrel, which helps save time too, because you can see a barrel from, we're in these, some of the grass is chest high in some cases along the highway, so we're kind of flomping through stuff. I have a ski pole I use.
The use of social media to find Irene is making for another bizarre twist in the case. Search organizer Stacy Kester hit with a protective stalking order by none other than Nathan Heitman, objecting to her using his name and other information on TikTok.
I was blown away by this because I'm not doing anything wrong. I am looking for a missing woman.
A missing woman who has touched the hearts of strangers and whose family won't give up on finding her.
My parents are spending sleepless nights. Just tell us the truth, then we can stop moving on with our lives.
And if you have any information on the disappearance of Irene Gakwa, please call the Gillette Police Department. The number is on your screen. And if you have...
Okay, so since that didn't really play well and the sound went in and out, then I'm going to read the article. The gist of it, basically, she met this man on Craigslist, moved to be with him. They were engaged to be married. One of the key things, yeah, she's been missing a while now. And I actually never even heard any hide nor hair of this case until I actually went onto the News Nation's website. Like, I haven't heard anyone talking about this all of last year. But yeah, she moved to be with him. They were supposed to be getting married, and his story is that she packed 2 plastic bags of clothes and said she was leaving Gillette, which is the city that she had moved to be with him. And hey, PJ, welcome. And her family did not believe that. I don't believe that. First of all, she doesn't come across as the type of person who would need to pack her clothes in plastic bags. She comes across as a person who makes sure that she has things that she needs, especially like suitcases. I mean, she came all the way here from Kenya. Of course, she didn't come with plastic bags full of clothes and belongings on that sizable of a trip. So apparently she had to have luggage. Makes no sense that she's packing her stuff in plastic bags. Secondly, her family said that her texts changed, and we all know that when we're texting, and we know how the people we're communicating with text. We know if they tend to use a lot of acronyms or if they spell everything out. We know how they would phrase something in a text. I mean, when I hit my best friend and I say WYD, he knows exactly what I mean. And if I were to text him and say, "What are you doing?" that would be odd to him because I don't text them like that. So her family noticing a change in you have BC? I never heard this case until now. If you want to send me any of those articles, because all the only articles I've seen so far are just the ones on News Nation. There's that first one on the missing page, and then this one that has the video and the more in-depth information. But yeah, so we know how our people text, and so if they start texting in a way that's abnormal, that's going to set off red flags with us because we know that's not how they would speak. Even to like words they commonly misspell, or that they have perfect spelling and the person who's texting you now is misspelling simple words. Then there is the fact that he drained her bank accounts, and his excuse for doing this is that he wanted to force her to have to contact him if she needed money. No one does that. No one does it. And then even if that were plausible, okay, I need to deny her access to her funds so that she'll have to get in touch with me. I would think that if I were going to do something like that to try to force someone to contact me, I wouldn't necessarily drain their accounts. I might lock the accounts down so that access is not available. You can't use your debit card, you can't go to the ATM or whatever. But I wouldn't necessarily take all the money out. And that would be such a far-fetched situation to even go as far as locking the accounts down. So that right there, another red flag. Also, he used her funds to purchase boots, pants, and a shovel. The shovel by itself sets off all types of alarms. Why did he buy a shovel? Why did he buy boots and pants and a shovel? So, of course, nothing about his story is adding up. Nothing is adding up on his part. I'm not going to read this whole article because we've pretty much got the gist of it. We know what's going on. We know that there are some major red flags. And here we see where one of the brothers was quoted as saying, "We're from Kenya, and sometimes we mix English and a language called Swahili." So he's used to her texting him in this, what's basically the Swahili equivalent of Spanglish. Some of us speak Spanglish. We speak a lot of English, but then we throw some Spanish words in there, or vice versa. You speak Spanish, but you got to throw some English words in there for some stuff. This is basically, they would communicate with each other in Swahili version of Spanglish. Hey, Texas Monsters, thanks for stopping in. Guys, I want to take a moment to tell you, if you haven't already, please go over to Texas Monsters Case page and like, share, subscribe, check out his videos. He's really doing an excellent job on bringing cases from Texas with good coverage, good fair speculation. He's just got a whole cool vibe going on. So please go over to Texas Monsters channel and support him so that he can get his community wall, he can get monetized or whatever. He is doing an excellent job. Thanks again for stopping by. So yeah, that was that one. That is Irene Gakwa. Her case, I'm going to do a little research and come up with some more articles on her. Since BC says there's some out there, because I really want to know what happens with this, if he ends up getting charged directly with her disappearance. He's charged in connection with using her funds and accessing her bank accounts and stuff now, but I want to see how soon or how long it will take for them to actually charge him in her disappearance, and if any more information comes out. So if you're out in that area, Gillette, Wyoming. If he or she looks familiar to you, maybe a neighbor, maybe someone you went to school with, as far as him, if you know anything, every missing person is one person away from being found. One person holds the key who can say, hey, I saw this on this day. I heard this on that day. So every missing person is one person away from being found. All right. The other case that I wanted to bring off here, this is Kaya Taylor. And I'm going to go back to the original page because I want to get that foundation. I want to get us familiar with her story so that we kind of have a reference point for the people who are being spoken about in the in-depth article. Y'all forgive me, I cannot walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. There's the page that I need. I just went off of it. So let me scroll down to Kaya. You see they're covering Michael Vaughn. They've got quite a few on here that I have not heard of. Kaya Taylor. So let's get her intro information. She is missing from Hillsborough County, Florida, as of February 2020. So she has been missing going on, let's see, 21, 22, 23, going on 3 years now. Her case status is pending. Kaya Taylor is 28, got into a fight with her boyfriend the night she went missing. She was supposed to go to a friend's house but never arrived. Days later, Taylor's car, along with nearly everything she owned, was found by a friend. A missing persons report was filed with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, which led to the discovery that officers had spotted Taylor's vehicle days before running while parked on train tracks. No one was inside. Police say they found themselves at a dead end in the case. Taylor's mother, Kenitha, says her daughter had a, quote, unique personality, unquote, with a smile that would light up a room. She met no strangers. I think everybody always loved to be around her, Kenitha Taylor said. Recently, according to News Nation's local affiliate WFLA, a local group called We Are the Essentials held an event to search for Kaya Taylor in November. Anyone with information about the disappearance of Kaya Taylor can call the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office at 813-247-8200. So, probably the main thing that stuck out to me in this, besides the normal stuff that we get, she had a fight with her boyfriend, never been seen since. We see that a lot. The fact that her car had been found running on a train tracks with no one inside days before. I would love to know if at that point her car was filled with her belongings, since when her friend found her car, it was packed with almost everything that she owned. I find it odd that police would find a vehicle, an empty vehicle on a train track and not make it. I mean, what did they do? Did they just push it off the tracks, or did they not make any type of attempt to contact the owner of the vehicle? It seems to me like they would have impounded it. I mean, it's a abandoned vehicle running on a train track. It seems to me that they would have impounded it if they couldn't find an owner. If for no other reason, if you impound it, then the owner might contact the police to report that their car is gone, stolen, missing, whatever. He moved it, locked it, and left it. I followed this case. Her shoes showing up under her missing poster. Her shoes showed up under her missing poster? Let's do some Googling here. See what I can come up with because it sounds like you got some good info on this. So she is actually from Plant City. Let's see. Yeah, it is weird. They didn't do anything. Her phone was lying on the ground outside her open car door. Okay, so that's when the friend found it. They found it in that condition with the phone on the ground outside the open car door. If I'm understanding you right. He picked it up and put it inside her car. Are we talking about the boyfriend? The boyfriend picked it up and put it inside the car? Or the friend? The cop. Oh. That's really odd. Let's see, this might be something. 4 facts about Kaya's disappearance. When he moved it off the road. So basically, they found the car on the tracks and they just pushed it, into a parking lot or a side of the street or whatever, and just left it? Didn't do any kind of follow-up? That's crazy. Okay, 4 facts about Kaya Taylor's disappearance. Plant City, Florida. Nearly 1 year ago, this is an older article from January of 2021. Nearly 1 year ago, Kaya Taylor's black 2000 Toyota Solara was found parked on railroad tracks with the engine running. Her cell phone, debit card, and keys were inside. In researching this case, we came across 4 details which stood out: the car, the shoes, the text, and the other missing woman. Oh. The car. Curiouser and curiouser. On February 6, 2020, a concerned citizen called the Plant City Police Department about an apparent abandoned vehicle on the train tracks. Both a police officer and a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office deputy were responded. It is not uncommon for officers to find abandoned vehicles when someone gets a flat tire or runs out of gas. However, this situation was starkly different. They discovered the vehicle's engine was on and personal belongings were inside. Okay, so apparently her stuff was inside the car at the time it was on the tracks. The car was running. He drove it off. Her sister has done interviews. I'm going to find her interviews. All right, they discovered the vehicle's engine was on and personal belongings were inside. Instead of considering any potential for foul play, they treated the scene as simply an abandoned vehicle. The officer and deputy decided to move Taylor's car off the railroad track and left it on the side of the road where it sat for 3 days. Multiple sources say Taylor's boyfriend's mother observed the car on February 9th and told him about it. We're also told by Kaya's sister that following that conversation, a friend of Kaya's drove the car to Taylor's mother's home. When her mother, Kenita, observed her daughter's purse and keys in the car, she immediately knew something was wrong and she filed a missing persons report. Now in a new tab. This is getting weirder and weirder. Despite Taylor's car being found on February 6th in extremely odd circumstances, an investigation into her disappearance didn't begin until February 10th, 4 days later. During their investigation, the police learned that Taylor dropped her boyfriend off around 4 p.m. on the 6th. According to some sources, the location on the train tracks where her car was found was 100 feet away from where she dropped him off, while other sources say it was 1.5 miles from where she dropped him off. The officer and deputy arrived on the scene around 7 p.m. 100 feet or 1.5 miles, that's still relatively close. She deserves to be found. And I wonder where the information about her dropping the boyfriend off came from. Did it come from him, or did it come from a third party who had knowledge of it, like the people at the place where he was dropped off, or a friend who was talking to her and she told them that she had just dropped him off? Did that information come from him or from somewhere else, or from like video? They saw video of her Ring doorbell or something where she was dropping him off. All right, so the source of that information is going to be important. The car is significant in this case because of the state it was left in. What, baby? Go tell Gabby to come here. Go tell Gabby Gigi want you. Oh boy, Bubby is having a meltdown, guys. Give me just 1 second. Sorry, guys. Had a Coco Melon emergency. All right. One was with Jason Herbert. Okay, I'm definitely gonna look that up. We'll see. The car is significant in this case because of the state it was left in and the fact that it was moved by authorities and then also moved again to her mother's home before detectives ever had a chance to search it for evidence. The location in which it was discovered is also a red flag. Definitely is. It is generally recognized that the critical time interval for identifying suspects, witnesses, and evidence is the first 48 hours after a crime is committed. However, because of how this case was handled, the investigation didn't start until more than 72 hours later. I am still completely stumped by the fact that the police didn't do anything more than move it off the tracks. Like, I'm from Florida. That doesn't even sound like what Florida cops would do. Florida cops find a car on a railroad track and lose their mind. They're going from door to door to see if the person is in a store or a restaurant nearby, or they're impounding the car. If for no other reason, they're impounding the vehicle so that they can get all those fees when the person comes to reclaim their property. So that just doesn't sound right. Okay, the shoes. According to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, multiple searches were done involving helicopters and one bloodhound, but nothing was discovered that led to a breakthrough in the case. On the contrary, Taylor's family told us a pair of shoes were found after a search at the bottom of a telephone pole that had her missing poster stapled to it. The shoes were placed neatly on the ground side by side. Her sister, Katrina Overstreet, says they extensively checked the area days prior and nothing was there. They believe someone came back and placed Taylor's shoes there after her disappearance became public knowledge. Yeah, DC, right? The shoes are throwing you. Like, okay, the shoes were placed neatly at the bottom of a pole that had her missing poster. Did no one see anyone bringing shoes there? Is there no camera there? Was that poster in an area near a business? Was it in a neighborhood? Was it in like an area that's pretty much a big empty lot? I wonder why no one would have seen these shoes being placed. Hopefully, the police searched out any surveillance cameras that might have shown something. But considering the way they handled finding a running abandoned vehicle on a train track, I can't be too sure they thought to look for video. The text. When Taylor's mother received her daughter's car, she saw her phone and went through it. The last text her daughter sent was to her boyfriend. Quote, "So you are going to send your white supremacist friends to take care of me." Oh, well, that escalated quickly. Residential area. That's crazy too because, I don't know. It's possible. Nobody saw anything. Okay. Taylor is biracial and her boyfriend is white. Her boyfriend's Instagram account description states, alt-right Jewish disciple of Christ / rabbi. Okay. One of his posts is a combination of the Confederate flag and a swastika. And it has an overlay of text from Revelation 3:9 about the idea of the synagogue of Satan. This concept is a commonly trafficked anti-Semitic belief, which asserts that the true Jewish people are Christians. Okay, so boyfriend is off in left field. If he associates with white supremacists, why would he be dating a biracial half-black female? Or half anything, really. Okay, it is unclear exactly what motivated Taylor to send the text to her boyfriend after she dropped him off at home. So she dropped him off at home. Which means that the car would have been found 100 feet to a mile and a half away from where he lived. Hold up, Bubby. You need some help?
I need some help.
Give me your shirt. Give me your shirt. Give me your shirt. Let's see. Bubby is hyped today. Here, Bub. All right. Now watch your Cocoa Melon. Close my door, please. Thank you. I love that baby. All right, it is unclear exactly what motivated Taylor to send that text to her boyfriend after she dropped him off at home, but her mother and sister think it is a fact that should be considered in her disappearance. Definitely. Taylor's boyfriend was questioned by Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, but her case remains unsolved. Yeah, even if it's a mile and a half, that's walking distance from the house. This is crazy. According to the Black and Missing Foundation, approximately 64,000 Black women and girls are currently missing. That is 10% of the total amount of missing people, despite the fact that Black women make up only 7% of the U.S. population. That's an interesting bit of knowledge there. No answers, no leads, no nothing. It's heartbreaking, says Overstreet. The other missing woman. Here we go. Shortly after Kaya Taylor went missing, her sister came across a photograph of another missing woman. She looks more like Kaya than I do, said Overstreet, who has the same father as Taylor, but a different mother. The photo was of 23-year-old Veronica Marlon Reyes-Diaz, who went missing just 2 weeks earlier in Dover, a small Florida town 7 miles away from where Taylor was last seen. Yeah, if I didn't know better, I would probably think this was the same person, just with, different makeup. The nose is noticeably different, but not very much. This is weird. Okay. Reyes-Diaz was reportedly in Plant City, where Taylor lives, and went missing just hours before she disappeared. although investigators did not find a connection between the two cases. Katrina insists nothing can be dismissed until her sister is found. The family encourages people to email or call with any tips or information in connection with Kaya Taylor's disappearance. That's going to be findingkaya@gmail.com and 813-661-1320. If they had a picture of a third woman that strongly resembled them, I'd start thinking serial killer. But hey, that's my true crime adult brain thinking that way. But God, they really do look so much alike. Okay, so let's see. What do we come up when we Google Jason Herbert and Kaya Taylor? Nothing. Okay, so let me take the parenthesis off Kaya's name. Nothing. Do you know what agency? Oh, he's on YouTube? Oh, let's go to YouTube then. I don't know why my computer is moving so slow. It's taking forever for pages to load, and it wasn't doing that yesterday. Jason Herbert. This is annoyingly slow. Oh yeah, missing anniversary, guys. Make sure you check out and share that playlist. They're short videos. I try to update it every day with information about children who went missing on this day 1 year ago. All right, Jason Herbert. Let's see what he's got going. And I'm just going to do a quick search on his page to see if he has anything with Kaya's name in the title. Here we go. Missing Kaya Taylor. Interview with sister. All right, Jason Herbert, I am going to link you in the description if you're watching this. Please do not strike me. I am simply trying to cover this case. And I will make sure I link back to you for this video. Why is my computer moving so slow? And this is the interview with her sister.
And we are live, I believe, guys. Welcome to Jason Hebert Live, another episode of your favorite missing person program. We do have an interview tonight with the loved one of a missing person. If you are into true crime and helping solve these cases, helping out these families, we do this almost every night. So please go ahead and click subscribe below and make sure to set the notification bell to all so that you'll be notified beforehand every time a video comes up. So you can come on. Our show is interactive. We allow you to participate in the chat if you are here live. So it's pretty cool. You get to ask your own questions and try to help us solve these cases and bring some comfort to people who are going through absolute misery, and they really need it at this point in their lives. I want to give a shout out to channel supporter Mike, by far one of the biggest supporters of my channel since its inception, and also my two patrons, Unresolved Crimes and Edie Whitley. You guys are unbelievable. That totally helps. Thank you so much to the patrons. So let's go in. Look, come in here. I don't want that on camera. Sorry, guys. Let's go ahead and go into tonight's case. And then we will bring on our interviewee, who is the sister of our subject tonight. So, on February 6th of this year, 2020, in Plant City, Florida, Kaya Taylor dropped her boyfriend off at his friend's house on Cowart Road, approximately 4:30 p.m. She also made a phone call to a friend sometime between 4 and 5 and was acting erratically, telling her friend, "You'll never believe what just happened." But when the friend inquired further, Kaya hung up. Later that night, around 11:30 to 12, Kaya's sister Katrina received a phone call from Kaya's mother that Kaya was missing. They are sisters, but different mothers. Her car had been found just a mile from where she had dropped off her boyfriend. It was on railroad tracks, the car was still running, and all of Kaya's items were inside, but she was nowhere to be found. Kaya did have some struggles with substance abuse issues, so it led to her being around some unsavory characters in her life. And now her family is desperately trying to find out who may be responsible for her disappearance and where Kaya may be. 2 weeks after Kaya's disappearance, someone went to a telephone pole where her flyer had been hung and placed Kaya's sneakers at the base of the pole. As her family searches for answers, they're uncovering something troubling. A girl that looks just like Kaya, named Veronica, went missing just 3 days before, not far from where Kaya's disappearance happened. So this leads her family to believe Kaya may be a victim of trafficking. And tonight, they're desperate for your help. Tonight, we have Kaya's sister, Katrina Overstreet, on to tell Kaya's story in the hopes that if you know something, anything, that you come forward.
All right, so let me pause for a second for just for copyright reasons. I like so far the way he's selling this. You know, he's like getting the information in there and getting us familiar with the case real quick. And he's covering some important facts, like concisely. Okay, never mind. This. I was hoping switching the window to a different screen would actually make it run a little better. Seems like it might be working. So let's see. Back to Jason Hebert.
There's no such thing as information being too small in these cases, guys. That's often exactly what solves these. So if you know something, but you think, oh, it's too small to matter, too inconsequential, oh, they probably already know this, please don't think that. That is exactly the kind of information that they need to come forward. All the links will be below as to how to contact the family and the authorities, and we will go over it later on in the program. So, Katrina, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry for what you're going through.
Thank you so much.
You have the support of me and my team. We're going to do everything we can to push this out to as many people who may know something. Do you want to start by tell us a little bit about Kaya and then lead us into what we know that day?
Actually, Kaya was the most wonderful 28-year-old you could ever meet in your entire life. Kaya had a quest for life. She was very energetic. She was very spiritual. She was the life of the party all the time. She always had a smile on her face, no matter, like when our dad died in 2019. Like Jason said, we have the same dad, different moms. When Dad died and we were at the repast, she made us all smile. And Jason can show you some pictures of her at that repast where, yeah, she was just the most happiest, most energetic person you could ever meet. 28 years old, okay? Had no kids. Always wanted a family. Always wanted a family. There she is. Look at her. She's the life of the party. And this is that you're showing. Yes, that's kind of. She's always been the life of the party, no matter what it was. Like, she could be mad, sad, slapping her head, whatever. She was always the life of the party. Always.
She's a very pretty girl, too.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful.
Close the door, baby. Okay, so now I want to see I want to kind of skip through here because I don't want to play his whole video. I want to kind of skip through here and see what she's saying about the actual facts surrounding the circumstances.
Okay. And she called a friend sometime between 4 and 5. Do we know if that was before or after the drop off?
After this.
Okay, and she tells the friend, you'll never guess what just happened. And the friend says, like, what? What's going on? And then she hangs up.
Right.
Okay. And then her
That's
car
all.
is found then, on the railroad tracks. It's running, and all its stuff is in it. What was in the
Well,
Oh.
actually, I
Let me go back just a little bit.
so we found a car. So me, I reached out to her, to Kaya. I tried to call her. I tried to text her. I tried to inbox her. We have a brother that we just found that we didn't know was our brother. So I like group chatted, hey Kaya, this is your brother. Hey, call me back. You know, say something to me, let me know. And we never got an answer. So this was February 7th. I looked through my phone to find out exactly what day it was. She never answered. So honestly, since then, there's been no answers, no leads, no nothing. And honestly, that's where we are.
Okay. So she drops the boyfriend out about 4:30 that day.
Yes.
And she calls a friend sometime between 4 and 5. Do we know if that was before or after the drop off?
After this one.
Okay, and she tells the friend, you'll never guess what just happened.
Right.
And the friend says, like, what? What's going on? And then she hangs up.
Right.
Okay. So, in my thinking, I want to say that whatever happened to her happened while she was on the phone with the friend. Since she's actively conversing and saying, hey, you'll never guess what just happened, you know, that's not a conversation ender. That's more of a conversation starter. You'll never guess what happened. Wow, tell me what happened? But instead of a response, it's dead air, a disconnected phone call. So I want to say that between 4:30 and 5 is when whatever happened to her occurred. Question in my mind is, did it happen while she was on the tracks? Or did something happen to her and then whoever is responsible for what happened to her took the car to the tracks and left it there for whatever reason? Maybe hoping a train would hit it and, you know, mess up evidence or something.
Okay. And then her car is found then on railroad tracks. It's running, and all the stuff is in it. What was in the car?
Well, actually, I want to. Her car was running. Some of her clothes in the car. But her cell phone was on the ground. What 28-year-old do you know that does not take their cell phone?
Exactly.
I'm 47. I would take. I take my cell phone everywhere, so I don't know anybody's number. But her car was running on the railroad tracks. Car, purse, some clothes, everything in the car except for her cell phone. Driver's side door open, cell phone on the ground. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to link this video in the description and you guys can go and check it out and watch the whole video. I'm definitely going to go and watch the whole video, but I don't want to play all of his content. I think that just based on what we've heard, we got enough to kind of rein in a tight timeline on this. I'm going to email him and see if I can use some portions of his videos concerning this case and see what I can put together that will really just put a spotlight on this. So, let me see, where was I at? I think I had another article pulled up about her. Nope, that is about Bryan Kohberger, and we're going to get into that. Oh, yeah, This Brian Kohlberger thing is. Okay. Former police, military members search for Plant City woman who went missing 2 years ago. The last time anyone saw Kaya Taylor alive was February 6, 2020. According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, her car was found abandoned, unlocked, and running at a railroad crossing in the 900 block of East Trapnell Road. Just that I wish I could find her, said Kenita Taylor, Kaya's mother, that this nightmare would end. Definitely got to be a nightmare for your kid to be missing and you just have no clue. Oh my God, swat the bot, swat the bot. All right. What was that? Before the bot took over. Detectives said Taylor dropped her boyfriend off at his home in Plant City. A few hours later, they found her car with her purse and phone inside. Except we know that the phone was on the ground outside of the car. Deputies moved the car, thinking the driver would return, but her family reported her missing a few days later. I still just can't get over that they just moved the car and, well, think nothing of it. They've had the cadaver dogs out here. They've had the helicopters, said Taylor. Detectives questioned her boyfriend but still have no leads. Kaya was big as life, Taylor remembered. She loved life. She had this contagious laugh. She was an avid reader. She was a beautiful person inside and out. November 16th is Kaya Taylor's birthday, which is why a local group called We Are the Essentials held an event in Plant City on November 12th. We felt like the family wasn't getting the proper response from local authorities. Yeah, I'm going to agree with that, Billy Lane said. So we felt like our help could be used and needed in this case. Lane is part of We Are the Essentials, a group composed of former military and law enforcement trying to find missing people. I'm going to take a note on that. I want to look them up and find out some more about them. They're just trying to seek an answer to a question that lingers in their family, Lane explained. Every holiday, the holiday seasons are coming up. They're trying to wonder where their loved one is. The group says missing people of color are more often forgotten about than found, but families just want their children back. They don't care for explanations anymore. Someone somewhere knows something, true? So just come forth anonymously, said Taylor. We just want closure of what happened and where she is, and that's it. Yeah, somebody somewhere holds the key to answers and to a solution. If you're out there and you're listening, Crime Stoppers is 100% anonymous. No one will ever know that you were the one who called. No one will ever know that you gave any information. And to boot, you might get a little reward. But call Crime Stoppers. If nothing else, call Crime Stoppers. That way you know that your information is secured. No one's going to point a finger at you. You're not going to have to testify at a trial. You're not going to have to talk to the cops or any of that stuff. Somebody out there knows something, and this woman needs to be brought home. Her family needs answers. And if it is indeed the boyfriend and possibly his, quote, white supremacist friends, unquote, who are responsible for her disappearance, then everyone involved needs to be brought to justice. I'm going to go and hang out with Little Miss Bubby for a little while, and I will be back on later because I really want to talk about Brian Kohlberger. I came across some interesting stuff about him. I was just going to throw it in this live, but we went another direction. So I'll see you guys later. I don't know when, but later. And we're going to talk Brian Kohlberger. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please remember to